Greetings everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you all for tuning in. Today I'm going to rank the catalog from Dio. I was asked to do this from a commenter on my Judas Priest ranking video. Same commenter also asked me to do Iron Maiden and Megadeth, which Iron Maiden I still have about 4 or 5 albums that I haven't listened to yet, and Megadeth I've got even more albums than that I haven't listened to, so I'm not too close on Megadeth, fairly close on Iron Maiden, but with Dio, there was only one album that I had not listened to prior to the suggestion, so I went ahead and played that album, and I'll talk about that one when we get there. Otherwise, just a kind of a quick background, a little bit of my history with Dio. I began to get into Dio when I was a teenager, around 14 or 15 years old. A friend of mine got me Killing the Dragon for Christmas one year, and the same friend also had the copy of The Very Best of Dio. So that was my exposure to Dio as a teenager. As time moved on and my musical taste kind of shifted a little bit more into like 90s alternative rock, post-grunge kind of stuff. A lot of the 80s metal bands that I was beginning to get into at the time that I hadn't really jumped full force into kind of got put on the back burner for a while. Fast forward a number of years, and my tastes have kind of shifted back to like the 80s hard rock and metal, and a lot of these bands that I've begun to get into as a teenager but never fully jumped into. I kind of have gone back and gotten into the rest of these catalogs, and Dio is among them. So without further ado, let's jump into my ranking. This is my Dio ranking, all 10 studio albums, my least favorite to my favorite. So here we go. In the number 10 spot, I've got this album right here. Something's got to come in at the bottom, and for me it's going to be the 1990 album Lock Up the Wolves. Not a bad album by any means. I really love the first song on here, Wild One. I think that is great. This album, though, as a whole, is okay. It's not the most memorable Dio album to me. In fact, it's probably the least memorable Dio album for me. Once you get past Wild One, the rest of these songs to me, they're just kind of there. Not bad, not great. Not an album that I go back to terribly often, but still one that is worth having. So Lock Up the Wolves for me is going to be number 10. In the number 9 spot, I'm going to go with the 1996 album, Angry Machines. This one to me is a little bit hit and miss. I don't think it's consistently as great as some of these other Dio albums, but I think there's some really good standout tracks on here. I really like Don't Tell the Kids. I like Black, Hunter of the Heart, Stay Out of My Mind, Big Sister Was Cold, Double Monday, Dying in America. So there's some good stuff on here. Maybe not as consistently great as a lot of these other Dio albums, but this one definitely has its moments. I'm not crazy about the first song, Institutional Man. It's okay, but I don't care for it much as an opener, so maybe just the fact that this album, to me, gets off on the wrong foot a little bit. But otherwise, I think it's a decent album. Comes in at number 9 for me, Angry Machines. In the number 8 spot is Magica. This is the album that I hadn't listened to prior to being asked to do this. So I went ahead and played this album. I think it sounds really fresh. I think it sounds cool. A bit of a concept album here. I haven't listened to it enough to really kind of, I guess, dive into the depths of like the concept of this album and whatnot. Upon first listen, Fever Dream and Turn to Stone were my 2 favorite songs on the album, but I enjoyed the whole album. I thought it was an enjoyable listen. This one may climb higher on my list with repeated listens. I'm not sure, but for right now, for my first listen, 8 is kind of what I was feeling. So in the number 8 spot, I've got Magica, the band's release from Y2K. In the number 7 spot, I've got Master of the Moon, the band's final studio album. My two favorite songs on here are One More for the Road and Shivers, but there's a number of good songs on here for sure. This is one of only 2 Dio albums that I have never owned, the other one being Magica. So this is still one that I need to pick up on CD at some point, but good album. I just couldn't quite put it any higher than number 7. So for me, number 7 is Master of the Moon. Monsters always know it's better in the dark. In the number 6 spot, I've got Killing the Dragon, released in 2002. Man, I wish I still had this album. Around about 10, 11 years ago, I purged out my CD collection and I got rid of things that I wasn't really listening much to anymore, and unfortunately at the time Dio fit that category, so I wound up giving that album away, and now I'm sure kicking myself for doing so. But Killing the Dragon is a really great album. The title track is really good. Along Comes a Spider is good. Scream I like a lot. Better in the Dark is a banging track. Push I really love, and the album closer, Cold Feet, I totally forgot that song, but it's a great song. So for me, number 6 is 2002's Killing the Dragon. That's all right. Well, it's all right. Just another day. When I began to get into the deeper catalog of Dio, I was kind of hesitant because I always heard that there was a big drop-off after The Last in Line. So when I got my number 5 album, Sacred Heart, I didn't really have very high expectations, but I wound up really enjoying this album. King of Rock and Roll is great. Another Lie is really good. Just Another Day is one of my favorite deep cuts from the band. I think that song is awesome. So a pretty good album. I don't think it's solidly or as great consistently as the albums around it, but it's still a very good, very solid album to me. It comes in at number 5, Sacred Heart. Number 4, I've got the band's sophomore album, The Last in Line. This album has my favorite Dio song. It's pretty much been my favorite Dio song for as long as I can remember. That's We Rock, which I think is just a great tune. The Last in Line, of course, is great. Breathless, I Speed at Night is a banging track. One Night in the City. I like Mystery quite a bit too. So great album from top to bottom. Absolute classic. For me, number 4 is The Last in Line. You've got desire, so let it out. You've got the power, stand up and shout. Number 3, I've got the band's first album, Holy Diver, released in 1983. And I think this album is pretty close to being a perfect album. If it isn't, Stand Up and Shout is a killer opener. Holy Diver, of course, is great. Gypsy, Caught in the Middle, Don't Talk to Strangers. I like Invincible a lot as well. Rainbow in the Dark, of course. Great album all the way through. I really didn't expect there to be any albums for me from Dio that topped this one, but I was very, very happy to find 2 that did. So for me, number 3 is Holy Diver. Plastic dreams and fast machines, walking into the limit. Girls and boys who think that noise is music in the air. In the number 2 spot, I've got Strange Highways, released in 1993. This is the band's 6th studio album, and coming off of Dio's reunion with Black Sabbath, they put out the Dehumanizer album in 1992, and then in 1993 we kind of get the Dio version of Dehumanizer, and Ronnie's just not holding anything back on here. This is probably the angriest and most pissed off album I've ever heard Ronnie put together. So I had heard how pissed this album was when I was getting more into the deeper catalog, and man, this album didn't disappoint. Ronnie is just freaking on fire here. Sounds fantastic. These songs are amazing. You got Jesus, Mary, and the Holy Ghost, which I think is a really interestingly written song. Firehead is freaking angry. Strange Highways is cool. Hollywood Black. Evolution, I freaking love. Pain. And one of my favorite deep cuts from the band is Blood from a Stone. Really great song. So, awesome album right here. I could easily put this number one, but I'm not going to because, well, let's talk about my number one now. My number one favorite Dio album is 1987's Dream Evil. This is the fourth studio album from the band. And to me, until you get to the album closer, When a Woman Cries, which I'm not a big fan of that song, up until that point, this pretty much is a perfect album. Perfect Dio album. Not much more I can say. This album is just awesome. Night People, killer opener. Love that kind of like really anxiety-inducing keyboard right at the beginning of the song before giving way to that really killer riff. Dream Evil, title track, phenomenal. Sunset Superman, All the Fools Sailed Away, freaking love that one. Naked in the Rain is fantastic as well. Overlove is great. I Could Have Been a Dreamer, gosh, what a great song. Faces in the Window. And of course Ronnie sounds amazing on here as always. And just what a great powerful voice Ronnie James Dio had. And I think of a song like I Could Have Been a Dreamer, which I listened to about like 20 times today. Just the power that he has and the way that he can just harness it and emphasize like certain words, like in the chorus of I Could Have Been a Dreamer, when he gets to the part where he's singing because dreams are what we are, and he just sort of lets loose that powerful powerful note. It's just, man, there is nobody quite like Ronnie James Dio. So for me, like I said, last song, not my favorite, but up until then, Dream Evil is pretty much a perfect album. So there you have it, my favorite Dio albums ranked from least favorite to favorite. Let me know in the comments below how you would rank the Dio catalog, and if you like this kind of content, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this in the future, and I will catch you next time.